Back in 2008, at the beginning of the financial crisis, I was 21 years old. I was working on my PhD, and the price of gold and silver had crashed with the market. And I was hoping to use that as an opportunity to load up on some gold and silver coins. I had one particular coin in mind, a 100,000 yen gold piece. And the reason I liked it was because it had a face value of 100,000 yen. It had about 2/3 of an ounce of silver, of gold. And I remember thinking that if I was wrong about gold, I would still have that 100,000 yen face value, which was not much lower than what the price of gold was going for at the time. And so I remember thinking this is a very low risk situation. Now the problem was, back in 2008, there weren't that many big box coin dealers online, and most of them that existed were dealing with gold eagles, silver eagles. There weren't too many people who were dealing with antique coins as a coin dealer. So back in the day, in 2008, buying coins online pretty much meant eBay, maybe Amazon, maybe Craigslist if you were willing to haggle, right? Pretty much meant that, if you said you were going to buy some coins online. Okay, so I went on eBay and I searched 100,000 yen gold piece, and nothing. And so I went to search for other gold and silver coins, and if I remember correctly, I bought a lot of war nickels, 1942 to 1945, because they were going for below spot. Everything else is going for above. And my rationale for that was that if silver is going to go anywhere near where I think it's going to go, $50, $100, $200, $1,000 an ounce, the cost of refining the silver from 35% war nickels is going to be negligible, right? Even if it costs $5, $10 an ounce to refine, I'm still going to be well ahead of everybody else just from having more silver to begin with, right? Even if I have to spend some of it for the cost of refining. That's my rationale. I remember doing a bunch of calculations, how much the cost of refining could go, how much silver could go. And I remember thinking it's really no lose, because even if I sell it back at below spot again, if silver continues to go up, let's say silver started at $10 an ounce, I was buying it at $8 an ounce, and now silver goes to 20 and I'm selling it for 18, I'm still ahead of everybody else. The only downside I could see is that it took up a whole lot more real estate because it was only 35% silver. But at the time, with the amounts I was trying to invest, that didn't seem like a big deal. Right now it would, right? Because I spent half my time as a nomad in my car. Now that the amount of space that coins take up would seem like a big deal. I'd be buying a whole lot more silver if it weren't for the fact of real estate problems, right? So I've been having to settle with gold and platinum as of late because of that. Okay, so I bought a lot of war nickels, I bought a lot of foreign coins. What else did I buy in those early days? See, when I think about opportunities of buying gold and silver, like the financial crisis, like the beginning of COVID-19, those were like some of the best days of my life, and that's troublesome because they're not the best days of most people's lives, and sometimes when I talk to people, I give people the wrong impression. Anyway, finally, after I spent all my life savings on war nickels, on foreign coins, finally that 100,000 yen coin shows up. And I'm so mad at myself. I got really depressed, if I remember correctly. My grades suffered. You know, it's kind of funny because sometimes my classmates, they go to school depressed, but it's usually because they broke up with their significant other. And they'll outright tell me and tell their professors and everybody else that, you know, I'm sorry, you know, I recently broke up. And people seem to accept that at face value. See, if I go to the classroom or I go to work nowadays and I tell people that I'm depressed because I missed out on my favorite coin, I tell people I'm depressed because my favorite bar is closed because of COVID-19, or I tell people, that might be a little bit more acceptable, I tell people that I'm depressed because my car is broken down, I can't go to Ellensburg this weekend to stargaze, right? There's a vantage point I love out there. People do not accept that. They only accept it if you break up with a human. If you break up with your car, with the bar, with the coins, they don't seem to accept that. I think it's unfair if you were to ask me, but that's what it is. Anyways, so I learned a lesson, a very powerful lesson when I was in my early 20s, that, you know, when to hold off and when to execute. In my mid-30s now, I run into the same decision. It's not really with the market anymore. It's with something else in my life. I hate to tell what it is here because people involved might be watching. But I have a decision that I've been holding off for, wow, over 10 years now, because I keep getting better and better and better choices. And even in between those choices, there's another choice that seems to get better and better and better with each iteration of this. And it's really highlighting the importance of staying healthy. That's why I love to do intermittent fasting. That's why I love baking chocolate. That's why I love to come out here to walk and get exercise, because I want to have more time to make that choice. See, part of the problem I had in 2008 was that gold and silver prices weren't going to stay low forever, and I felt this time crunch to make that choice. Today in 2021, by staying healthy, by getting exercise, keeping my immune system strong, and intermittent fasting, I buy myself more time so that more of these options can show up.